Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Perspective. We've seen the opposition unite again as to what they're calling Tehreek-e-Tahaffuz-e-Ain Pakistan. We'll be talking about the ramifications of this kind of an alliance in which they assert claims of constitutional breaches, human rights violations, among many others, in the face of a government led by the Prime Minister, who's saying again that perhaps there can be dialogue, there should be dialogue between the government and the opposition. We'll be talking about this. We'll also be talking about earlier the kind of headway we saw and then the deadlock that happened. Whether in this kind of a united opposition, the kind of front that at this time that they're trying to portray, there can be that move towards dialogue again. What is behind this? Also, at the same time, the economic indicators, the kind of positive economic indicators as far as the government is concerned at this time, repeatedly showing things on the mend as far as inflation is concerned, as far as overall going back to the IMF is concerned, with the Prime Minister again saying that we are on our way to perhaps getting rid of the fund once and for all. All of that today on Perspective. I have with me Wajih Abbasi, who is a political analyst. Thank you for being with us today. We also have with us Fakhar Yousafzai, who's going to be talking about politics. He's also a political analyst. Ali Rashid with the PPP. Thank you for being with us today. We'll also be joined by Dr. Shezra Mansab Ali, who is with the PML-N. Wajih Saab, like I said, at this time we see a government which is focusing on economy. We've seen the positive indicators, and we've also seen an opposition try again and again, but fail. First of all, led by, if we talk about, Tehreek, we talk about PTI, there has been a move to mobilize people which doesn't seem to have been as successful as it seems that they'd hoped. And at this time, this kind of a unity, what is behind this, in your opinion?
As far as PTI's politics is concerned, right from April 9, 2022, when Imran Khan was ousted as Prime Minister, you have seen PTI always trying to destabilize the government and trying to agitate the streets to topple the government. And in this, for this reason, they have used all tactics. They tried to make the country default by writing to IMF and other things, and they used all the avenues, whichever avenue they saw, they used it for that purpose. But they have failed to do to achieve their objectives. Now they have tried to, they are now trying to get an alliance with other political parties. Actually, PTI has been, trying to, always it has been Imran Khan's policy to degrade other politicians. So that's why they don't have many friends among the political parties. But now they have cobbled together an alliance of basically nobodies. Because the main force was JUIF, which was with them, but JUIF hasn't signed that communique. The others like Syed Abbasi or Agitation Saab has a single seat, and Syed Abbasi doesn't have any seat in the parliament. So they are politically, they don't count actually.
Okay, on that note, let me include Fakhar Saab also. Fakhar Saab, according to Wajih Saab, I'm going to use the term that he's used. He's saying it's an alliance of nobodies. Would you agree with this?
If Wajih Saab is right and the government is right, I think so. Why they stopped them even from a press conference in Islamabad, which is, I think so, not a good thing for our democracy, for our country, as well as the opposition is concerned. Of course, there are no big parties who have the seats in the parliament. Agitation Saab, it's okay, we know about him, the PK map. He is representing that. But if you talk about Maulana Fazlur Rahman Sahab, I think so. That is, they have presence in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa as well as in Balochistan, in the National Assembly as well. I think so. They are creating the pressure on the government. I don't think so. They are going for any type dharna or things like that. They are demanding. They want to pressurize the government. Therefore, they're demanding the midterm election. I don't think so. The midterm election is will be in the coming days. I don't think so. But if they will not keep the big demands in front of the government, of course the government will say this, that okay, these are the political parties and they have some representation in the National Assembly or the provincial assemblies. These are their tactics. I think so. PTI as well as the other opposition parties, they are making the ground for pressurize the federal government as well as the other government. But the government should take a wise steps for tackle all these tactics which they are doing against them. If they are going, they claim that Pakistan is going on the right path, especially they're talking about the economy, the inflation, so many things. I think so the government should be cool, and they should be with passions. They should face all the things with passions. I think so, and they as well as they should talk with the Maulana. Of course, the Prime Minister Sahab have a very good relation with the Maulana Fazlur Rahman as well as with the Achak Zai Sahab. They should talk with them. If they are not interested to talk with the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, why not? They are going to talk with the other political parties. Why not with the Shahid Khaqan Abbasi? He was a former Prime Minister of Pakistan as well as a senior leader of the Pakistan Muslim League Noon, I think. So therefore they should talk with them. If they are creating some problem for the government.
Let me include Ali in this also. Fakhar Sahab, let me include Ali in this also. Ali, if you've heard both Wajih Sahab and Fakhar Sahab, whether there is this a ploy then to become relevant? If we say that there is perhaps they don't have seats, or they don't have the numbers, so to speak. If we look at the at the palette overall, as far as the assemblies are concerned, as far as we look at the map, so to speak, the legislative map or the parliamentary map. But the question is that one party that does have seats is also among them, and is it going to make them relevant? Is it targeted to make themselves relevant? How does the PPP look at it? How do you look at it?
I personally feel I would like to disagree with the analyst previously, which had said that maybe getting Shahid Khaqan Abbasi Sahab and these other people might not be helpful. I think otherwise. I think Shahid Khaqan Abbasi Sahab and let it be Miftah Ismail Sahab, they're very sound-minded people, and they understand how the PML-N thinks. They worked with them, and they're just genuinely very smart people, unlike PTI leaders, sorry to say. You've seen how they've been in the past and how they failed to have the talks and stuff. At least if you have some, a voice of sanity, if you have some competent people like Shahid Khan Abbasi, etc., Miftah Ismail and other parties, it doesn't matter. I mean, like previously it was being discussed, they don't have a seat. It doesn't matter if they have a seat or not. But if you want to have talks, and if the government has said, yes, we are willing to talk, and the opposition, the joint opposition, has faces like Shahid Khaqan Abbasi, etc., these are good people who can actually reason with the government, and they already have had a working relationship in the past with PML-N. So they also understand the mindset of that party. So I think, if anything, it's a blessing in disguise that if this is happening, at least we can rest assured that things.
But Ali, I'm going to interject here. What you are calling a blessing in disguise is these people getting together and saying, challenging the legitimacy of your government. You are very much part of this government. These people getting together and saying, challenging the legitimacy of the elections. These people saying that, the very foundation on which this government is built is in fact, it can't stand. So then, if rational people are saying this, then how would you, respond to this?
Here, we have to agree to disagree. They're entitled to their opinion. The facts are otherwise. What I'm saying is this is nothing new. PTI has been saying this since day one, right? But how did they conduct themselves? Dharnas, coming out, chaos, uh, having talks, but then not showing up, then having talks and not having the authority, one leader saying something else, the other one saying something else. So what I'm saying, by what I mean by blessing in disguise, at least the business, see, the government is still willing, no, despite the fact that this is what these guys are saying, we are still open for talks. So if the government is still open for talks, I'm saying, isn't it better to have some people who are sophisticated, who have
who have a sane head on their hands on the other side? I understand. Let me go to Dr. Shezra and I'll come back to you. Dr. Shezra, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Dr. Shezra, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And also thank you so much for your time. Overall, we are talking about the fact that there seems to be, according to Muhammad Ali Rashid, he's saying that he sees it as a welcome, it's a good thing that the people on the other side, so to speak, are people who are sane. When you talk about, are more rational, I think sane is I'm sorry, the wrong word here, but more rational and open to any kind of dialogue. With the Prime Minister saying that let's again try for a dialogue, do you think this new alliance, there's better chance that perhaps there can be some headway?
I certainly think that the alliance that is forming, most of the people are veteran politicians. They've seen a lot in the history of Pakistan, and they've seen the ups and downs that have happened. And none of them believe in the politics of disruption or the politics of chaos that the PTI believes in. However, I don't know what you were talking about earlier, but it seems to me very difficult that an alliance will eventually form with PTI and the other parties. They've had maybe a conference and they've sort of just talked very generally up to now. And they said that what they want to achieve is the rule of law and democracy, to strengthen democracy. But I do not think that the definition of democracy for PTI and the rest of the parties is the same, because PTI, what they say and what they're actually doing, there's a vast difference between it. Because on the one hand, they're saying that they want to make these alliances to strengthen democracy, and on the other hand, they're writing letters to the army, and they are sort of those letters actually calls to the army to come and help them, and to they sort of want to repeat what happened in 2018 when the elections were rigged and the RTS was disrupted, and then they came into power. So that is the kind of thing that they want now, because the best forum and the best platform to talk about democracy and to talk about rule of law is the parliament, and the government and all other parties offered them to talk on that forum. The speaker took that initiative. He brought all of them together.
Dr. Shezra, they are the very foundation of the government, when they are alleging that the government itself is not, that the government itself is based on the legitimacy of the government itself. They are questioning it, they are questioning the foundation of the government, they are questioning the elections, and therefore saying that it's not a real democracy. Then, the kind of talks that you are talking about, how amenable will they be to that dialogue and that talk?
It's a bit too late in the day for them to say that the government is not legitimate, because they've already legitimized it. They have come into the parliament, they have formed their government in KP, they have come into the parliament, they've become part of the committees, they've become chair people of the committees, they've taken all the roles, they've been, getting paid by this very parliament for 1 year. So either this is too late in the day for them to suddenly say that this government is not legitimate and they don't want the parliament to become a part of it. If they thought that should have happened
Shezra, but a
on
lot
day
of these
one.
people, like the former Prime Minister Syed Abbasi and a host of other people who are a part of this alliance are not in the government, in the parliament. So in that sense.
So I am only talking about PTI at the moment because that is the largest party in that coalition that they are trying that sort of platform that they are trying to form. The other parties which are there are very either just at the stage of inception or very much smaller obviously than the major parties of Pakistan. So that's what I'm talking about. The PTI is they want to get this coalition because they've tried all sorts of things. They've tried the dharnas, they've tried the long marches, they've tried to do that politics of disruption which has failed. They have stopped coming out for them because how long can you just go on, going on the roads and saying that you're going to protest and then at the same time going into the parliament, they are getting their pay paid from there, getting all sorts of perks from there, and at the same time saying. So, yes, I mean, I do not think, that's why I said I do not think this forum will work out very well because whereas some people, yes, it's fine for them to say if they're not in the parliament and if they're outside the parliament and they're saying,
Fair enough, fair enough. Thank you so much, Dr. Shezra. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. Wajih Sahab, you heard what Dr. Shezra is saying. She's saying that, it's a little too late for them now, as far as the PTI itself is concerned, to challenge the legitimacy because they are part of the system. But isn't it true that they have been saying from the point go, that the elections particularly have not been fair?
Yes, that's true. But they have been they have their own view on the elections, and they have not been accepted the results as legitimate. But unfortunately for us in Pakistan, that has been the course since 1977.
No elections have been acceptable to all parties.
No election has been acceptable to the those who lose those elections. So that is a very common phenomenon in this country. But that's very unfortunate. I will just give you an example of India. In 1990, if you take that a benchmark, our GDP was almost one third of, 50% more than India. Our growth rate was double than India. We were growing at 6% and India was growing at 2.5 to 3%. And Indian economy in mid 1990s, they had to sell their gold reserves to ward off default. So that was their point. But you just compare Pakistan today and India, and what was the difference? In India, in 1990, you saw Narasimha Rao ruling for 5 years, and then Vajpayee Sahab ruling for 5 years, then Manmohan Singh ruling for 10 years,
there
and
was
then
continuation of democracy. On that note,
and there was one difference. Now, our political parties in India also, they have problems with the ruling party. They have different governments in the states and different governments in the center, but no state government will challenge the central government, and every political party will wait.
Will accept the legitimacy
of the government and wait for their turn.
I want to talk more about this. I think that's a very important point. I will come back to you, but we'll be taking a short break, after which we'll come back and talk more about the alliance of the opposition against the government and whether there is really a possibility of dialogue. Please stay with us. Welcome back. We're talking about the opposition, the alliance against the government at this time, and whether there can be some kind of a dialogue as far as the opposition and the government is concerned. Wajih Sahab, you were earlier talking about comparing us, for example, with India. As far as continuation of democracy is concerned, whether whatever reservations any party may have with the elections at any given point, like you said, we've never had an election that has been acceptable to all parties, and this is not different in that regard at all. This is no different, this election also. In that kind of a situation, if this alliance even does go ahead, do you think that it is, PTI, like earlier you were saying, it's going to be able to, work with them, because they haven't traditionally been able to work with, a host of other parties, a host of other groups which have over time, time to time united with them?
PTI had alliances in the past with Jamaat-e-Islami. The first time when they were in government in KP in 2013 to 18, they had alliance, which they had to add alliance because they didn't have the majority in the KP assembly. So they had alliance with Jamaat-e-Islami and Shirpao Saab's party. And what they did with both of them, now none of them actually is willing to work with them. Even though the Jamaat-e-Islami has been holding demonstrations against the government, they are sitting in Rawalpindi for quite many days, but they are not willing to work with PTI. That's same case with Shirpao Saab also. Now, if these political groups, like as I said that earlier, Maulana Fazlur Rahman is not entirely with PTI. Even here, he didn't sign the that communique issued after yesterday's conference. And in KP...
Do you think because of KP? I wanted to come to that.
Yeah, no, because they didn't agree with what probably was on the communique.
Okay.
And in KP, if Maulana says, if Maulana doesn't accept the legitimacy of the elections, and he was contesting from KP and a couple of seats in Balochistan. He had no problem in Balochistan. Whatever problem he has is in KP. And in KP, the beneficiary is PTI. So if he has grievances regarding elections, it will be against the PTI, not against PML-N or PPP, or because both of them didn't do any good electoral results in that province. So that is the if tomorrow he will have any problem with any political party in KP, that will be PTI, because PML-N and PPP are basically have been in alliance with Maulana Fazlur Rahman, and both Zardari Saab and Nawaz Sharif have very good relationship with Maulana Fazlur Rahman, and both of them have been showing a lot of respect for Maulana and his family actually. So I don't think that Maulana will go to great length with PTI. Other political parties, as I said, and
temperamentally also. Let me go to Ali, and I'll come back to you. Ali, as far as temperamentally speaking, when we look at the head of PTI, the former Prime Minister Imran Khan, he is, his inability to be able to go along with other political parties or other alliances with groups is traditionally known. So in this instance, for them to be able to work with all of these people, do you think it's a possibility? It's a probability?
I feel it'll be difficult, because as you know, PTI and its leadership and its leader, the founder, is a very difficult person to reason with and to work with. Now, it totally depends what kind of authority he gives to his team to negotiate and have talks with the government. As I said earlier, the new additions will definitely be something which will help, because you will actually, you'll know where you stand. I mean, at least they will be able to convey that what is it that this opposition alliance wants. And I'm sure these guys are seasoned politicians, so whatever they'll bring to the table will be realistic. It won't be up in the air. and there won't be any U-turns, because in my opinion these guys have integrity and they do understand, and they've also launched their political party. They're just starting off again, so they wouldn't want to taint it by doing anything silly which would backfire. So the fact I'm a very, I like to look at the silver lining. So although the history in the past of PTI and the track record hasn't been that good, and they've not, they don't keep their word, they take U-turns, they have, within the ranks of the party, they have issues. One leader says one thing, the other says another thing. But I'm just hoping that this new blend and this new addition to the opposition alliance may bring some sanity, and they may be able to actually, come to terms with the government that, okay, theek hai, we can work on these things, we can interview, we can probe these things, and, meet us in the middle kind of situation. And if that's good, so that'll be good for the country, because once and for all, we'll do things and we'll be able to, sort it out. But, if they keep demands like fresh elections immediately, both of that's not going to happen. So that's being a bit immature and childish, and even assuming that those demands are met.
Right. Let me come back to you, Ali. Please stay with us. Fakhar Saab, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Fakhar Saab, they've also, there are these allegations overall as far as the government is concerned of, engaging in a crackdown, political suppression, all of these kind of allegations. How do you assess them? Because we are looking at a time of social media. We've also seen recently a lot of critique come in. Not just overall, but as far as PTI as a political party is concerned, and they are very vocal with this critique. So how do you assess these allegations?
If I will agree not fully with you that PTI allegation in the government response. I think so. In some places, PTI, of course, we can say that the government is suppressing them, but not everywhere. This is my point of view about that. As well as the recent past protests are concerned, they are especially talking about that. I think so. The government should play a positive role. If there are so many people behind the party, the workers of the political parties, I think so they should release them. These are the ordinary people of Pakistan, not the high-fi big politicians or the other big shots of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf or other parties. I think so. This is very important. But I will say that PTI should also play a positive role for the country, as well as sit with the government, and they should bring their demands on the table. They should play their role in the parliament. This is very important. This is not only for the Pakistan, this is for the strengthening of democracy, as well as this is important for the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf politics as well. They should play I think so, mature. They should leave all those things which they did in the 2014 and after that. They should leave all these things right now. They should.
Let me come back to you on that. Wajih Saab, what Fakhar Saab is saying, if we talk about the recent crackdown, that the PTI is alleging, we saw the protests that happened and they were actually allowed to come to D-Talk. How much of suppression is it that, they're talking about? And what suppression is it that they're talking about? When, eventually, of course, it's about the court, it's about the course, it's about the normal course of justice, and the fact that relief that they're talking about invariably has to come through the courts, no?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, one thing we must do is that we should have a national consensus on what is a peaceful demonstration. Because when you are coming to hold a demonstration and you are coming with equipments to bulldoze anything which is erected to stop you from misusing that right, or you are coming with preparation to fight with police, with fight with security forces.
Or you're coming with grenades,
grenades and petrol bombs and that sort of things, and tear gas shells and these weapons and all that things.
And there were people.
I'm sorry to interrupt. And you are also not making it. I mean, you have been saying that we will do this.
And you've also, and there have been actual arrests, Afghan, we know that people from, of the Afghan origin have been arrested in that regard. So that there is proof also.
There's proof.
So what does the government do? If they
no, what government should do? But should government allow people to occupy the government buildings? Should it allow people to burn the government buildings? Should it allow the people to disrupt the our government activities? That can't be done, and that's not done anywhere in the world.
Yes.
But we should have an agreement on that. And then on that, even if you go to the existing laws, don't, I mean, all these people have been booked under the existing laws. I have reservations when you use anti-terrorism laws against the demonstrators. That should not be used. But what will you do if people use petrol bombs against you, against the police?
What does the state do to enforce its writ, which is what we've been talking about from time to time, as far as these protests are concerned?
Yes, that's
let me come to you, and I'm going to go to Ali on this. Ali, as far as the opposition has frequently said that there is, allegations of corruption have been made also, as far as the Sindh government is concerned. How do you address these allegations overall, and and what do you say to the opposition? Ali? Ali, can you hear me? I don't think so. Wajih sahab, like you were also saying, there are these allegations that happen time to time, and the same question from you, that these allegations of corruption, are they generic? Because they happen every time, and whichever government is out, unfortunately, like you said, we have that kind of a political atmosphere, unfortunately. To an extent, it's also part of the political realm. And it's largely unsubstantiated. It's just thrown out, these allegations of corruption, inefficiency that the opposition is making.
As far as corruption is concerned, again, unfortunately, right from 1949, we have been using these allegations and against the opposition, against our political opponents, to degrade them and to persecute them throughout the history. And it doesn't give us a clean government. It hasn't given us clean government, and it will not give us clean government. We should have a system. Laws are already there, and those laws should be. We should create sort of atmosphere and create a system where these such type of allegations, if there are any allegations, that should be that should be proved in the courts, and that should be there. But making allegations against government, and it is very easy to make an allegation, and unfortunately in this country defamation laws are not working.
And also allegations at this time when, I'll also take Fakhar Saab's opinion on this, allegations at this time when we see positive indicators overall as far as your economy is concerned, when we see this response overall of all international bodies as far as economy is concerned on a positive level, whether we look at the stock exchange, whether we look at stabilization of the dollar, whether we look at overall IMF conditionalities are concerned, then how do you substantiate these allegations? Fakhar Saab?
Okay, you are asking me. Actually, I agree on this point that stabilization or the political stability is the key factor for any country in the world, and we need more than the other country around us. I think so. As I said earlier, that the government as well as the opposition. They should sit on the table. Of course, first of all, we should bring the political stability. After that, the economic stability will come automatically. Of course, we are going for the IMF program as well as we are going for the World Bank program. I think so for 10 to 20 years to approximately $40 billion. Our finance ministry and our prime minister or other ministry are involved in that. I think so. This is very important for our survival. I think so. But the political stability and give the response to the other political parties. This is also the part and the beauty of the democracy. If we are not talking with someone, for example, we don't like the PTI chairman. Okay, fine, we can. This is all right. Might be possible some people don't like to the PML-N leader or the Pakistan People's Party. Okay, it's fine. And as well as the protest, the peaceful protest is the basic right of every citizen of Pakistan. I think so, according to the laws. If they are doing some violence, of course, there are so many law enforcement agencies. They can arrest them, they can stop them, they can do each and everything. But if we will create the suffocation in the society, of course, it's create more problem for us. We cannot bring the solution for our problems like this. Of course, we should give the space to everyone. This is very important as a journalist, as a politician, as a layman of the Pakistan, as a government people. Of course, if they are claiming that we are providing the very good economy, we are providing the low inflation rate in Pakistan. Of course, all the Pakistani people, the 240 million population will accept it. Of course, if I will get something from the market on the low prices, I will say that I was purchasing this type of these products in the past on this price, and right now our government is providing us a relief. Of course, we will appreciate that. I think so. The element.
You're right. That itself will speak and that itself will resonate. There's no doubt about that. Thank you so much for being with us. Fakhar Yousafzai, thank you for joining us. Wajih Abbasi Saab, thank you for being with us. Ali Rashid, thank you for joining us. Dr. Shezra Mansab, thank you for being with us. Overall, of course, whether this alliance actually pans out or not is certainly an important question in view of a lot of previous alliances which have unfortunately disintegrated, one. And two, if the government again is with the Prime Minister saying that there should be dialogue, perhaps that dialogue can be, can be used and channelized towards those issues that invariably are important, like for example, continuation of democracy, like for example, better, electoral laws or better governance, all of those things that can actually make a difference rather than they're being used for any benefit to one political party. Let's hope that there can be some kind of movement toward those things that really matter to the common man, to you and I. Thank you so much for joining us today on Perspective.